The funny thing is though is that like I always liked spiders. Like when you're young, you get like the temporary tattoos and stuff. Like
Oh yeah.
I'd always get like spiders and stuff, and I was always going to get a spider tattoo. I just never got it, never did it. It's like I liked spiders, but I hate being in the same actual room with them. Can you imagine if I had a tarantula for a pet or something?
Ugh. Like if it was in a glass enclosure and I didn't have to touch it, I'd be like, yeah, cool.
Like
Um,
tarantulas are actually very placid and stuff. So hopefully, if I ever got one, I'd be able to get over the fear at least to touch that one. But still, I see them at pet stores and I'm like, I want one, and then I see it up close and I'm like, I don't want one.
well, yeah, they look scary, but yeah, I've heard the same thing that they're pretty placid.
Even if you aggravate them a bit, they tend to just throw the fists up and be like, "Come at me, bro," and then do nothing. You'd have to really like, from what I understand, anyway, you'd have to really get into them to make them actually like attack you,
Okay.
and it not be like like a fully defensive thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but you can still get it fucked. What do you reckon? We've talked about a fair bit there. Maybe we can get
Oh,
into the
yeah.
episode from here.
That's probably a good idea.
Let's get into it.
Cool.
You were almost a jibble sandwich.
So, just before we came on, I was rewatching the movie just to have it fresh in my mind. I didn't finish it all, but I was like, once you said like you had to go wake up old Spermy, I was like, yeah, while I'm doing that and making dinner, I'll chuck the movie.
Would that be Renfield?
That is 100% the movie I'm talking about.
Cool. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's man, I've got a whole bunch of notes and stuff, and like a thing that I found out while I was looking up some trivia. But holy shit! Like, I want to hear your take and all that first. I want you to lead this one a little bit because I do enough talking for the both of us a lot of the time.
All right. Well, okay. So I've watched it. I should have really watched it again. It's probably been over a month since I watched it now.
Yeah, we've really gotten. I don't want to say slack, but we've had a few things get in the way of us recording this
Yeah.
episode. It's been
I've had
quite
things
frustrating.
going down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
life, love it.
But yeah, so I love a good action movie or a good comedy. I feel like Renfield's a good combination of the two.
100%. I've actually got a little note here, because it's kind of marketed as a horror movie, but I would say it's more like an action comedy, like a very gory action comedy.
Yeah. So I am the biggest scaredy cat. I don't watch horror movies, but I was actually excited to watch this and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I didn't find really anything scary about it at all.
The scariest scariest parts that I can remember are pretty much just the parts with Nicolas Cage before he kind of like goes full Dracula, if you know what I mean. Like
and he's sort of like fully revitalized kind of thing.
Yeah, like when that happens, it just becomes a bit more horror comedy again. But early on in the movie, when he's looking disfigured and stuff.
Yeah, that was pretty gross.
Yeah, so gross, but I loved it. Also, probably spoiler warning for this episode as well. If you haven't seen Renfield, then we're probably just going to say stuff. I can't be bothered.
Yeah, and you should go watch it.
I absolutely should go watch it. If you're in Australia, it's definitely on Netflix right now.
Yes.
That's where I was just watching it. Otherwise, find some sort of a mean to watch it and get it into you.
And don't be lame. But yeah, so I really enjoyed all the fight scenes and the gore, like just blood everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the main character's name? I've totally forgotten.
You mean Renfield by any chance, or do you mean the actual actor?
Oh, that's right. So Renfield is Dracula's.
Yes.
Okay, yep. So yeah, Renfield. Sorry. Oh my god,
that is
my
that is very
brain.
funny.
My brain just does not want to work tonight.
Uh, what's the name of the main character? Oh god. If I start doing
Yeah,
sound
wow.
bites for this, that is definitely going to be one of them.
Oh dear. Yeah, so Renfield having to eat bugs to get powers and stuff was pretty funny.
Yeah. Did you know though that actually comes from the from Bram Stoker's book?
Ah, that's cool. I did notice there was a few things that reminded me. So I don't think I've read the book, but I've seen the movie based on that.
Yeah. It's
Um,
I don't think they touch on it in the movie, like in the Bram Stoker's Dracula movie, but it's definitely from the book. And it's the same person, Renfield, which is his. I actually don't think Renfield's in the movie at all from memory. It's been so long since I've seen it. I
I
seem
think
to,
if he is, he's in like a little jail scene for like 2 seconds,
yeah, that might be
and
right.
that's it.
I can, off the top of my head, I can only recall, um, like Dracula being on his own or with Keanu Reeves. I can't recall him having anyone else helping him, or and the girl vampires.
Yeah, true. Just gonna maybe quickly have a look.
um, but yeah, it's definitely from the books. But like it is funny, especially when he runs out of the bugs and has to like I think in one scene he eats a fly, like he's like chase a fly lands on a soup dish or something,
Oh, that's right.
and I think.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, later in the movie, he smashes open like the ant farm.
Oh, yeah. Was that a present he gave someone as well?
I don't remember if he get. I don't recall him giving it to the kid, but he gave like one of the ants. He gave like an ant to the kid with the ant farm, I believe.
Ah, yep. Yeah. And then just like him using like other people's limbs as weapons when he's fighting and stuff like that.
It actually reminded me of I've been watching Futurama, and the episode where him and Zoidberg get into the fight because they're mating, and Zoidberg cuts his arm off, so he starts beating him with his own arm.
I need to go back and watch that show. It's so good.
I do like Futurama. Plus, there's a few new seasons since the last time I watched it too.
Really?
Like they definitely had a season that came out just last year, but I think it was like 2 or 3 seasons that came out.
Oh, I definitely haven't seen those. I
Yeah,
didn't even know that they were still making stuff.
no, they weren't for ages. So like they had the show. I think I might have the timeline wrong here, but they had the first 4 seasons. Then they had the movies, I believe, like Bender's Big Score and the other one. I forget the name of the other one. Then they had seasons 6 and 7, I believe. And then so season 4 came out, gone for a few years, made the movies. And then I think a year or two after that, they made seasons 6 and 7, maybe 6, 7, 8. And then there was another big break. And then like 2 or 3 years ago, another couple of
Yeah,
seasons
okay.
came out. So yeah, it's been over a long period of time, but yeah, there's it's part of the reason why I'm rewatching it at the moment is because I just want to refresh myself of all the stuff before I get into the newer stuff.
That's a good idea.
But yes, absolutely love that movie show as well. And while you're looking up your thing, so one thing I found while I was just researching trivia, and I wasn't actually researching it to talk about today. I just like researching trivia on movies that I watch. Um, so apparently, Nicolas Cage actually has a pyramid-shaped tomb waiting for him in New Orleans when he eventually does die.
Pyramid shaped. That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was very cool and very interesting.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage has famously spent so much of his money in his lifetime on stupid things like a dinosaur skull and like just I don't know. You got the
I
money.
was
spend it. Why not?
Yeah, what's it? Like the whole YOLO premise of you only live once, you may as well do it.
I think Nicolas Cage has only lived once about 50 times so far.
I did actually read about the dinosaur head. Apparently it was stolen and he ended up having to give it back.
Yeah. So the person who bought it off, you've basically told the story, but yeah, the person who bought it off had either stolen it or had bought it off someone who had stolen it, and I don't think he knew. So like, yeah, he bought it, had it sent up. Turned out it was from like some big collection somewhere, and then yeah, had to return it, and I don't think he got his money back either, which sucks. But
Oh yeah, that sucks. I also did I read it or hear it the other day that he's a big wrestling fan.
I haven't heard that, but it wouldn't surprise me. Or if I have heard it, I've forgotten about it. But yeah, absolutely wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think I saw a photo of him like at a WWE show.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, apparently he's a big fan.
Well,
So that's
I
cool.
can get on board with that. That's for sure.
And one thing that did make me laugh actually was that he was offered a role on Dumb and Dumber by
Yeah,
Jim Carrey. Yeah.
and he didn't take it. Like, did you find out why he didn't take it?
I'm just going back to it now.
That would have been actually, I don't know if I would have liked that at that point, because he hadn't during Dumb and Dumber. He was still a bit more of a serious actor. He still did comedies and stuff, but like he wasn't the Nicolas Cage we love and know today. In terms
No.
of zaniness and weirdness,
I feel like
it was only halfway there.
yeah, that's true. I feel like Dumb and Dumber's a bit more slapstick as well, which might not be like really what his sense of humor is.
Potentially not. I'm trying to think of like the comedies that I've seen him in. I mean, Vampire's Kiss, I think it's called, from the 80s. That was fairly slapstick.
Oh, okay. I haven't actually seen that.
It's weird in a
Yeah.
good way, but it's weird.
Okay.
It's basically about a man who thinks he's a vampire, and it's been a long time since I've seen it. I can't remember if it ends up that he actually is or whatever. But yeah, he's throughout the whole movie he's just doing all this weird shit because he thinks he's a vampire. Like he thinks he can't be seen in mirrors or something. It's been a long time since I've seen it, so I'm not going to try and ruin it by explaining what I don't remember. I just remember that from what I do remember, it's a bit more slapstick than other stuff.
It sounds like it's worth watching, to be honest, from like the tiniest bit of information you've given.
100%. I honestly can't think of too many Nicolas Cage movies that aren't worth watching. There are definitely a couple, but I can't think of too many. Like, if they're not just good movies, then they're worth watching because it's Nicolas Cage and the way he acts.
True. I'm just trying to think too. I don't think I've seen a lot of his comedies. I think I've mainly seen like the dramas or the action movies that he's been in.
I mean, that's definitely what most people have seen, 100%.
Yeah.
But let me just bring up his IMDb as well, and see if I can rattle off a couple of the comedy ones that like either maybe you didn't realize were comedies or just haven't seen.
Yeah. Okay.
Where's? Oh man. Oh yeah, that's right. He's in The Flash.
Oh really?
Yeah, like so back in the early 2000s, there was a Superman movie that was going to be directed by Tim Burton, written by Kevin Smith, and Nicolas Cage was going to star in it. Like there was like there's footage out there of him being in like the Superman costume and everything. It just never went ahead. So
wow.
So there's a scene near the end of The Flash where it's like all the multiverses across and over. You can see like the Christopher Reeve Superman and all this kind of stuff, and it shows Nicolas Cage as a Superman.
Wow. I just can't imagine him as Superman. That's crazy.
It looks hilarious too because he's got like this long flowing hair, like similar to Con Air hair, except a bit more full.
I'm just imagining him doing that whole Con Air, like flicking the hair in the sunshine with this like Superman suit on.
That's what I feel like happens every time I see it. 100%.
Oh god.
Sorry, so I'm just looking through. There's movies like Lord of War.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I've heard that's really good though.
It's really good, and I wouldn't call it a comedy, but it's definitely like it's got like a lot of dark humor and stuff in it.
Okay.
There's a movie called Matchstick Men, which has oh man, his name's eluding me in this moment. Give me a second. Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell's in it as well. It's about a con man who finds out he's got a daughter or something like that. She comes into his life, and he suffers from like extreme anxiety and all this kind of stuff.
Okay.
There's Moonstruck, Vampire's Kiss. What else we got here? Like you're right. There's not a whole bunch of them that stand out.
Yeah, I feel like Renfield was funny.
There's definitely more than I can think of and see.
Yeah.
Right here.
And then like was it The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent?
Oh yeah, Unbearable Weight of Massive
hilarious.
Talent.
Yeah.
That was great.
I need to watch that again, actually.
The Sorcerer's Apprentice. It's kind of like a Disney movie.
Oh, I loved that movie.
Yeah, it's got comedy in it. It's got Jay Baruchel in it and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what I found out just the other day? There is a Nicolas Cage skin for Dead by Daylight.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you can run around as him. Oh, it's fucking amazing.
I wonder if we could talk the others into actually playing that, maybe.
The only reason we wouldn't, I think, would be if people have to pay money for it. Like if it's not on like a Game Pass or something.
Yeah, true.
But also you have to pay for the Nicolas Cage skin too. Like it's not a free one.
Bugger. That'd be pretty great though.
Oh, 100%. I was watching my daughter. She was showing me through the skins that she had or something, and the ones that she wants. And I was like, "What's that one there?" And it was Nicolas Cage. 100%
Nice.
Nick Cage. I wonder what skills he'll have. I didn't look it up. I should, but I didn't. So there was a Scar joke early on in the movie that made me laugh. They're at the codependent meeting, and one of the women is talking about her toxic boyfriend or whatever. And
yeah.
how does it go? It's like she's saying how like he loves ska music and like how that should have been a red flag for her and all this kind of stuff. And then one of the other women in the group goes, "Oh, that's the one where it's like 90% horns, right?" And then she responds with like, "Actually, it's much more complicated than that," and starts to go into this like reasoning of what ska music is. And then she's like, "Oh my god, who am I?" I thought that was very, very funny.
Yeah, you know it's bad when you start like being the mouthpiece of the other half.
Oh man, yeah, just echoing everything that they want. I mean, I don't hate ska music, but I do love a good ska music, making fun of ska music joke.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely going to write that down to check in. Is there anything else from the movie that stands out for you?
I'm just trying to remember. I don't know. Honestly, it was too long ago that I don't really have any specific notes on anything. Like, I think it was pretty well done. I didn't really notice any like plot holes or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure movies like that for me, it's like I'm sure if I sat down and like actually tried to plot out, like mark out the plot and keep notes and stuff, you could probably find a bunch of plot holes. But it's the kind of movie where you don't, you know, the story kind of doesn't matter. You just want to see Nicolas Cage being Dracula. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Like he's not even technically the main character, but like everything in between, like I've literally got it written down that while I was watching it, I felt it was more like I was watching an 80s action movie than a horror. Like there was like a montage
Yeah.
scene with some like, you know, 80s style music and stuff. You know, like
Yeah, that's true.
nothing about the movie in terms of like what you would typically consider a horror movie was actually there, except for the gore and the fact that it's Dracula and stuff.
Yeah.
Like even the more intense, scary scenes, like it play like the dialogue between the mafia mob people was like straight out of like you know, it could have been a Die Hard movie and they could have been the German terrorists, you know, like
Yeah.
it's definitely not the kind of dialogue you expect from like a modern almost anything movie really, at least not of that caliber anyway. Like because I mean you've got Nicholas Hoult, you've got Aquafina, you've got Nicolas Cage, you've got Ben Schwartz, who if you don't remember who he is, he's John Ralphio from Parks and Recreation. Like
Oh, yeah.
he's not like a, you know, an A-list actor, but he's a damn, you know, a good comedy actor and does a lot of decent comedy stuff. Like if, you know, if he's in it, he's a more high profile one. So if he's in it, you know, they had a bit of a budget. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, cool.
so yeah. I just yeah, like I expected Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone to come out at some point.
All right.
Like just because of the way the movie was like the dialogue and the way the movie was playing, I expected it to be like he comes out as Van Helsing or something and to fight Dracula. Like, obviously that's
Yeah.
not where they were going, but that's what it felt like the whole time I was watching it.
That's cool.
Um, and the gore, like,
It was great.
I love gore, but and even though it's R18 plus, like I went in not just like I expected it to be like, oh, there's just a couple of big gore scenes or something like that, which is why it's R, or maybe like heaps of swearing and stuff. But I was like very pleasantly and happily surprised with the large amount of gore in that movie. Like
Yeah.
imagine watching like I don't know something like Lethal Weapon, except with the amount of gore that would really happen with all the like knifing and gunshots and stuff.
Yeah, true. And bombs and things like that.
Exactly. When he punches that dude's head off at the start of the movie.
I actually lost my shit when that happened. I was laughing because, like, it takes something like pretty surprising or like really hilarious for me to actually laugh out loud and like laugh a lot.
Yep.
That actually made me like laugh out loud.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I couldn't like I didn't expect that. Like
No.
there was so much going on in that scene and like, you know, some funny stuff like some of the banter and all that kind of stuff, but when that in particular happened and then when Ben Schwartz's character reacts to it I was just like, holy shit, this is going to be a great movie.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and I think when they're like hiding out in that like it's like a motel or apartment block or something.
Yep.
And then all those guys rock up, and he's just like literally like jumping from balcony to balcony and ripping people's arms off and stuff. Like it was brilliant. It was good.
Yeah, that was a great scene. I'm actually disappointed I didn't quite get back up to that before we jumped on.
Yeah.
There was another funny scene. Like it was only a small moment. It definitely wasn't as hilarious as when his head gets punched off. But he walks into his apartment and Dracula's sitting at his desk or his kitchen bench or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then he looks back at his front door and the welcome mat. It says "Welcome, please come in." And he's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, that's right. Just invited him in.
Yeah, inadvertently. And the when he gets to the codependence group, Dracula, that is.
Oh yeah, that was a great scene actually.
Probably the most horror of the whole movie, to be honest.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because he does act all scary and murdery there.
Yeah, very murdery, and I loved it. What do you reckon overall? Like I don't think we'll do ratings as such on this, like when we talk about movies and stuff. But what do you reckon? Like, to take a note out of maybe someone like The Completionist, rather than giving it like a numbered rating, like a recommend, wouldn't recommend, like a watch with friends only.
Okay.
What kind of we'll think of because the way he rates games is like, because he's obviously a completionist, so he rates it like complete it as in like do everything, finish it as in like just finish the game, don't worry about the completing part, or sometimes it's like don't even play it, like this game's not that good. But mostly
I like that that way of reviewing though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean there's plenty of places out there that do like give it like 7 out of 10 or something like that. Like if you want that kind of a review, you can find it.
That's not here.
Yeah, exactly, that's not here. I mean, I could break it down. We could talk about the cinematography, and we could talk about this, that, and the other. And believe me, I could talk about that for days. But ultimately, I just want to know if a movie is entertaining or not. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there are so many movies out there that are considered really good that aren't entertaining. There's so many movies that are entertaining that aren't good, and like everything in between. Like when I was younger, I used to watch all the Oscar winner movies because I'd be like, oh, they won an Oscar, they must be good. And like they probably are good. I mean, a lot of them are good, but like sometimes even though they're like good on that level, it doesn't mean I want to watch it,
Yeah.
Like, I start watching it, I'm like, oh, this is boring. Like I'll just sit on my phone the whole time or something. And that was back before phones were smartphones too. I'd just be playing Snake for an hour and a half.
Well, it must have been boring.
Man, sometimes it genuinely was.
Good old Snake.
Me and my friends used to have this thing. We don't have it so much these days. Partly because it's not as true, but also partly probably because our taste in movies has changed. But like when you'd go to like the video store and it would have the film selection award or something, and it had like the golden like wraith around it. It'd be like it'd be like Cannes Film Festival nomination or winner or something like that.
Oh yeah, and it's supposed to be like, oh, you should really watch this. It's supposed to be good, kind of thing.
Yeah, we used to have a thing where as if it had that, we would definitely not watch it, because every time we got a movie out that had that for a while, it was just like the worst movie we'd ever seen.
I used to actually as well. When I was younger, I wouldn't read reviews on movies that often, but if I did see stuff in the paper and it was like, oh, 2-star or 3-star and it's crap, I'd be like, that's going to be a good movie, I'm going to watch that.
100%.
And I found most of the time it was.
It's so frustrating too, because for someone like me, like, I mean, I love all movies, but I really love horror movies, especially like I especially love like more thriller horror movies and stuff. You know, like not the best examples. I just can't think of anything else right now. Like Signs, for example.
Oh yeah.
Like movies like that where they're a bit more like not straightforward, but most of those movies um, don't get good reviews just because they're
Yeah.
horror movies. Like um, an example of the movies I like are my favorite. Like my current favorites are like Midsummer, Hereditary, Nope, Get Out. I like Us, but not as much as the other two. But like those kind of movies where they're just like not quite so straightforward with like just being like a gore fest or something,
Okay, yeah, there's actually like some mystery there.
mystery, or just like it's just a bit more well thought out or whatever. Like it's a bit like I like your Friday the 13th and all that kind of stuff. Like sometimes that's the kind of movie you want to see, but sometimes I want to see a movie where it's like doesn't necessarily have to like make you guess, but like it's just a bit more better put together. Like Nope, it's not real. It doesn't really leave you guessing that much. It's a bit
I
more
haven't seen that, but is that like an alien abduction movie?
sort of. There is one little part of the movie that is like leaves you guessing, which I don't want to spoil for you right now.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
it's
I
it's a
probably
bit more
will watch
straightforward.
that at some point.
Oh,
Okay.
you absolutely should. Like if you liked Us or Get Out, then you should love Nope.
I don't think I've seen those.
Oh
Like
my
I said,
god.
I don't watch horror movies.
Oh my god.
uh,
Uh,
I have seen Don't Breathe.
oh, Don't Breathe is a good one. Oh,
Yeah.
the one that's the one where he's blind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The sequel, it's very funny because in the sequel they basically make him the good guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, God.
it's weird, but
Oh, man.
yeah, Don't Breathe is a good one.
Yeah. I saw it at the movies. That was making me jump a lot.
Yeah,
And I saw... It's got Emily Blunt and John Krasinski.
Krasinski.
That's it. The Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place. Yeah, I just went blank because I was like it's day one. I mean, oh wait, what's it called again? Because there's a new one coming out like in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So I saw the first one. I really liked it. That was a bit scary for me, but I pulled through.
I'm only laughing because to me it's
not scary.
barely at all. Like it's a bit it's a bit tense in some parts, but it's like to call it scary, I'd be like, yeah, not
okay.
really.
See,
But
that's how bad I am.
oh, don't worry. Amber is very much the same. She's just a little bit braver than you. That's all. But every time we go see a horror movie together, almost every time, assuming that it's a decent horror movie, like she once yelled out in the theater, it was like she screamed like someone had just like punched her in the face or something. It was great.
Oh, that's gold.
And of course, me being the asshole that I am, I take every opportunity I can to scare her. Although
of course.
I do it less these days though, because I think I've frayed her nerves to the bare minimum.
You're probably a cause of trauma now too.
Yes, I am. I can't help myself. I scare my kids. I scare my mum. I scare everyone. I used to scare my grandma all the time too, but I can't now because if I do it now, she'll probably legit die.
Oh God. All right.
I can't help it. And now I've passed it on to my youngest daughter because now she'll like she spends every opportunity she can trying to scare me, and she gets so disappointed when it doesn't work. Over the last 3 or 4 years of her actually trying to do it, she's probably gotten me about 3 times in total. And you should see it when she gets me. Like she lights up. She gets so happy. She has to tell everyone about it. She's just like, "Oh my god, I did it!"
That's awesome. I think
Man,
Spermy used to do it a lot to me as well, but not as much these days.
yeah. It's
Um,
sometimes when it's too easy, it does get a bit boring.
yeah, true. Well, yeah, I am easy to scare. He's just got to be like standing around a corner or something, and I'm like, ah, fucking, ah. So,
So
but I've got him a few times too. Like,
awesome.
yeah.
If you can't give it back, then like if Amber never tried to scare me or whatever, I would probably never scare her because it's like then it just becomes mean.
True.
But she does try to get me, but then but Amber being Amber, she feels so bad afterwards.
She's a funny girl.
What I don't try to scare her that much these days. I literally do what you said of before, where sometimes you just have to be standing around a corner. Like I'll just try to be like waiting, like if I walk up behind her or whatever and notice that she hasn't noticed me, I'll just like stand off to the side. Like I won't make a noise or a sudden movement or anything. I'll just stand there and wait for her to come around the corner, and she'll still shit herself.
Nice.
She scares herself sometimes because she doesn't realize that I've walked away or walked near her or something like that. Like she'll just like I'm not even trying to. I'm just like I'm just walking around the house doing my thing, not being quiet or anything. And because she was focused on something, she'll turn around and be like, ah, because she's like, I thought you left the room. Like, no, I just walked over to the cupboard. Like,
I've literally scared myself with like, a shadow moving or something, and I think it's like a spider, and I'm like, on the other side of the room in like a second, and Spermy's like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" I'm like, "It's nothing."
so the worst time I've ever scared myself, and I must have been in like high school or something when this happened. I was laying in bed and I had like a ceiling fan. Like I'd just woken up, and like sometimes when you wake up, your eyes just kind of go a bit weird.
Oh yeah.
Like you'll kind of see like dark spots and stuff like that sometimes, like because your eyes are just like focusing and shit.
Yeah.
So like I opened up my eyes, and the way my eyes went, it looked like there was a spider dangling from the ceiling fan, like right above my face. And
How did that go?
I shit my pants, and like cleaned my and looked around, like there was nothing there, like I couldn't find evidence of a web or anything. I was just like,
Oh,
Jesus.
that's the worst if you still hadn't figured out that it wasn't even there to begin with.
I figured it out reasonably quick, but not quick enough.
Yeah. There was actually just thinking about it. There was a couple of nights where like I've gotten into bed, Spermy's still up because he doesn't have to go to bed as early as I do for work.
Yeah.
Jumped into bed, I'm just laying there, like trying to go to sleep, and then I can just hear like some movement in the room, and I'm like, oh no, there's something in here, and it sounds like it's like right on the floor next to me, where the bed head is.
Yeah.
So the first time I heard it, I actually jumped up, turned the light on, and was like, what the hell is that? Tried to like, without getting too close to the bed head, trying to look behind it and seeing what's there. Couldn't see anything. I got Spermy to come in and check for me. And then nothing. So then I jumped back into bed, turned all the lights off, and then I heard it again.
Yep.
And jumped back up, did the same thing. And then eventually I realized it was just me moving in bed. It was just me.
Oh my god, that is amazing.
I know. Oh my god. I spent so long trying to figure out what the fuck was going on.
Oh man. Not the same at all. You've just reminded me of like the best time I've ever had watching a horror movie with Amber. We watched this movie called Sinister, and it's not overly a great horror movie in the sense that like you wouldn't be like, oh, that should have gotten an Oscar or anything. It's just the way they did their scares and stuff were like not as cheap and stuff as other movies. Like some movies do jump scares and it's just like saw that coming and whatever.
Ah, yeah.
Like
you get like you sort of get like that sense like, oh, there's something coming. soon.
Exactly. And I know it's hard to explain, but not hard to explain. They just did it really well, and like there was even like one or two moments in the movie that made me like jump, like which speak to Amber. I don't jump in like any horror movie pretty much ever,
Yeah.
and so if you think about it being a movie that made me jump at least once or twice in the whole movie, like you can imagine how Amber might have been feeling.
I'm
Like
already feeling like I'm never going to watch this movie if you were scared.
again, definitely wasn't scared.
Just, yeah, jumpy.
Good jump scares. I haven't been like truly scared in a horror movie for a long time. In fact, Nope was the last time that um the first time in a long time, sorry, that there was a scene where I was literally like, oh no, this is fucked. Nope, this is fucked. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah. And again, I can't really explain to you why until you've seen it, because otherwise I'll take the like, it's probably like the one scene in the whole movie that's like really scary, and then
Okay.
like there's other scary parts and moments in the film, or like tense parts, but this is the one part where I was just like, oh Jesus Christ, no thank you, no thank. Like I was also almost literally going nope, 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 nope. And
Hence
like,
the movie title.
yeah, but that's literally why he called it that, because he wanted to make a movie where you're just like nope, no, 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 no.
Oh, God.
But yeah, we're watching Sinister, and she's jumping and screaming, and I reckon we had to do like she almost had to go to therapy just to get over that like the movie. Like we legit had to watch like a comedy or something afterwards so she could get like the scariness out of her system.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It was it made my day. We'll put it that way.
I think oh look, everything scares me, but I think one of the last movies I watched, like a horror movie that I watched that scared the life out of me, was Paranormal Activity.
That one was like that. It's the same kind of thing where it's like on the face value, it's not that scary, but like the way they set up their scares and stuff, like
Yeah.
because there's a lot of like things not happening when you think they're going to, and then things happening when you don't think. And
Yeah.
there's a. Have you seen The Invisible Man, the recent one?
No, I haven't actually.
It's good. It's a horror movie, kind of like a slasher. So if you're okay with slashers, I reckon you'd be fine with this.
Yeah,
Uh,
gore and stuff doesn't bother me.
yeah, it's not overly gory, but it's like the way the movie is. It's a bit more like a slasher. But because it's The Invisible Man, they do this really good thing in a lot of scenes where it's like you can't see anything, but they're focusing on something in a way to suggest that something might be there.
Okay.
But like because you don't know, because obviously he's invisible, it's like say for example, she might be at the dinner table setting dinner, but like the way the camera's focused is like she's not the main focus of the frame. The main focus is like the kitchen behind her, kind of thing.
Ah.
So it's like, oh, is he there watching right now, kind of thing. And Paranormal Activity does a lot of that kind of stuff where it's like it just focuses on something for a while, and sometimes nothing even happens, but it's like just setting you up to be like, oh, is something there right now? Something
Yeah.
not there?
I don't know why, but like ghost movies have always just like, they're probably my worst ones to watch, like that I get mostly scared at. And I didn't even want to watch Paranormal Activity. I think I was still living at home. It was just me and my brother home on like a Saturday night randomly, and he's just chucked it on, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah,
But I watched it, and then it was like in the middle of the night by the time it finished. She just got up, turned the TV off, went to bed. And I'm like, fuck.
See, I can definitely do that these days. Like I've been watching horror movies since, oh god. I mean, it's not technically a horror, but the first horror movie I remember watching is Jaws when I was like 5 or 6 years old.
That movie traumatized me. I have fear of the ocean still.
I have a fear of the ocean, but mostly because it's vast and huge, and fuck that.
Yeah.
I mean, sharks. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to get bitten by a shark or anything either. But they're the least of my concerns. I actually thought I was going to freak out on the cruise a bit, but it was actually fine.
Yeah, you
Uh,
did pretty well, didn't you?
I mean, like I was 100% fine. Like I
Yeah.
thought I might have freaked out a little bit, like once we're out in the middle, because like it is a bit weird and creepy to be in the middle of nowhere. Like you cannot see land anywhere around you. You know what I mean? Like it's just ocean forever. And like that's a bit freaky, but
That actually makes my stomach like knot just thinking about it.
it like yeah, it's but like on the cruise itself, like if I was on like maybe a small boat and like we weren't meant to be out there, maybe it would have been like a huge thing. But on the cruise, it was just like like you think about it, you go, oh man, this is a bit creepy, and then you go, oh, let's go swim in the pool or do some kind of activity.
Yeah, true. Yeah, well, it's not like you're just sitting there thinking about it constantly. So
Exactly. And there was
yeah.
lots of good restaurants and stuff on there, and lots of and like we saw
Food makes everything better.
100%. And we only like most of the restaurants on there you don't have to pay for. Like they're all included in the service. There was a couple that you did have to pay for, and we went to one of them, and it was fucking amazing.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, it was like if we weren't eating, we were sunbathing or swimming, and if we weren't doing that, we were at like a watching a comedy. Like they had stand-up comedians or like play things and all this kind of stuff. So we're always doing something.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. We want to go on another cruise at some point, but we probably want to go to like Japan or something first before we like an actual like overseas trip as opposed to a cruise trip. Because the only bad thing about the cruise is that when we did stop at ports, you only had like 7-8 hours to go explore, and yeah, that's fine. But like at least one of the places, like Vanuatu, we were like, man, we want to go see so much more of this place. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that'd be nice.
it was so good in Vanuatu. Like New Caledonia, it was good too. But we were in an area of New Caledonia that like wasn't bad. It was just there wasn't that much to do there. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
where Vanuatu had so many things to do, but also like we went through a few places where they had like all this good food and stuff, and we were just like, oh man, we want to, we wished we were there for at least one more day.
Well, hopefully that's like maybe a trip on its own that you could do one day.
Maybe, maybe not. I feel like any more than a couple of days, and it probably wouldn't. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Okay.
It's really hard to say because when you don't get enough time, you're like, man, we could have been there forever. But then, like for example, we went to Bali for 8 days, and the first like 5 or 6 days, we're like, oh man, this is amazing. And then by the 8th day, we were like the last couple of days we're there, we're kind of like we've kind of seen everything. No, like not in a bad way of like, oh man, I wish we were home now, but it was just kind of like we'd done everything that we'd really wanted to do, and we got to the point where we're just repeating the stuff now. So it's like
Okay.
8 days was just a little bit too long.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe we'll go to Vanuatu, maybe not. Maybe we'll just do another cruise there and try and see different things.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you could always spend like another day there doing the stuff that you didn't get to do.
Yeah, like if I went and did the exact same cruise, like and stopped at the exact same places, like I would know, like okay, I'm going to do this time and that time. You know what I mean? Like, not that I feel like I missed out on anything because we saw so much cool stuff. I should actually go through all my photos and try and find them all. I'm the worst for that. I take so many photos of things, but I just don't post them anywhere. Or like, well, not that you need to post them anywhere, but like I don't post them anywhere. I don't really show people that much. Like I just take them and then they sit there forever.
Nah, yeah. I do the same thing actually.
There's nothing wrong with it, but also it's like I don't know. I guess the
Yeah.
photo. I guess it's good to have the photos there for like later in my life when I can't remember anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, but let's bring it back just for a second. Where would like how would you rate the movie? How would you rate Renfield for people
Ren
listening?
for Renfield, I would rate it as big recommend.
Big recommend.
Yeah.
Nice. Is there like any I don't, we're fresh to this. So like we still haven't figured out our formats and things like that. They'll come. But like what
Yeah.
it,
Like
what
I
it,
didn't even know we were actually rating a movie today.
yeah,
So there you go.
I didn't think we were going to rate it either, but I was just like, you know what? We're talking about it. Let's,
Yeah.
what's the point in talk? We could be talking all this stuff and be like, oh man, this is awesome, and then it'd actually be like, oh, I wouldn't like, don't watch it if you're not a movie, if you're not a Nicolas Cage fan, don't watch it. But oh my god, we had fun. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, true.
like, do you reckon you have to be a Nicolas Cage fan to enjoy the movie, or does that
I
just
don't
make?
think so.
Yeah, yeah, it just makes it extra good if you are.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Um, I'm going to the movies tomorrow. Actually,
Well, what are you going to go see?
I'm going to go see The Watchers.
The Watchers.
So it's directed by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter.
Oh, his daughter.
Yeah. So it's her
That's cool.
her like movie debut or director debut, or
I wonder if it's going to be just as weird as his movies.
I'm hoping so. Like I'm the first to admit not all of his movies are great, but at least he's doing different things.
That's true.
Like there's so many same the same movies out there. At least he's he's got his style, and he's like it's like Tim Burton. Like people get over Tim Burton movies too, but it's like, you know what, if I want to see a Tim Burton movie, it's because I want to see a Tim Burton movie, not because I want to see like Tim Burton directing like a Michael Bay movie or something. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that's fair.
I want it to be a bit weird with some cool visuals and dark and gothic generally.
Yeah.
And same with M. Night Shyamalan. If I want to see one of his movies, because I'm feeling like I want to see a movie that has a bit of a twist, or like means I'm going to have to think at least a little bit about what might be actually happening.
I must admit, I did actually like The Village.
I loved The Village. I thought the
Yeah.
ending was a little bit like, okay, but I still loved it. Like up until that one point, like, and it's literally like the last 5 minutes of the movie. Like
Yeah.
the movie was fantastic, and even then, it's not that I would say the ending was bad. I was just like, maybe it could have been a little bit better. But then again, I haven't watched The Village for a long time, so maybe I'll go back and watch it and be like,
See,
actually,
I thought it was a pretty decent twist.
no, it wasn't a bad twist. It was just, I guess, the movies that had come out before it had such bigger, shocking twists that it kind of felt a bit. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. That's just how it was for me. I still loved it, and when people were hating on it, I was like, why? It's such a good movie.
Yeah. No, I liked it. It was creepy. It had all the good things. Had the twist at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's two more recent M. Night Shyamalan movies. One of them I think is directed by him, but it's based on like a graphic novel, and like he didn't do all of the script writing, I think.
Okay.
And the other one, either he wrote it and someone else directed it, or he directed it and co-wrote it with someone. I can't quite remember what the combination is there, but that's A Knock at the Cabin and Old.
Haven't heard of Old. I think I may have seen the trailer for Knock at the Cabin. Did that have Batista in it?
It sure did.
Okay, I did see the trailer for that, but I haven't seen it.
I saw it at the movie because me and my daughter love going to see horror movies, like at the movies. Cool. So yeah, we saw it at the movies, and it was very good. Like I would definitely watch it again. As in, like, some movies you can like watch and be like, that was good, but I don't really feel like rewatching it. Like I would definitely rewatch that movie.
Okay.
Old,
must be pretty good.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was really good. and Old is like a 50-50 whether I'd watch it again. Basically, they're on a beach. They can't get out of the beach, and,
Oh,
and
oh,
they're
was
like
that?
they're
Oh, was that
aging really
him?
quickly.
I
Yeah, so
did. Yeah, I did actually see the trailer for that one,
yeah,
and she's like suddenly pregnant and stuff.
well, not suddenly pregnant. Well, I mean, yes, suddenly pregnant, but like she has sex with someone, but like the sex happened like literally like 5 minutes beforehand or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like they're walking up, and it's like she's not pregnant, and then she is pregnant, like as she's walking, kind of thing. Like it's yeah. Um, but yeah, I can't remember if he directed it or not. I know that he definitely co-wrote the story. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to look it up
Okay.
because I might be confusing the two because um,
While
maybe
you look that up, I'll tell you about my stupidity with going to the movies recently.
yep.
Um, so I went and saw the latest Bad Boys movie, I think last
Oh,
weekend.
well, there's I can already see where the stupidity has come into it.
I love those movies. Well, I love the first two movies. And see, this is what happened, right? I didn't realize that there was a third one, and then
Like
I've
the
just
one that.
gone and seen the fourth one.
Oh, okay. So this one is the fourth one, right?
Yeah, so I missed one somehow. I think it may have came out during like the height of COVID, and I just missed it completely.
Uh, Now that you're saying it, yes, that's almost exactly what happened.
Yeah, so because like the movie started going through someone that had died, and I'm like, what? I'm like, okay. And then it started being like a part of the storyline, and I'm like, I'm definitely missing something here. What the fuck? And then after, like, I'd sort of watched the movie. I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. But I definitely knew that I'd missed something. So I went back and looked after, and I'm like, I missed the whole movie somehow. So yeah.
That is yeah, I hate like that has happened to me before, but with a series of movies that I can't remember what it was, but where there was like way more movies than you thought. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It was like more. It was more of like a have I seen this one, or is it the other one that I haven't seen kind of situation, as opposed to not knowing that there was another one.
Sometimes too, when they don't, like, I feel like I'm just blonde, hey. Like, if they don't go like 1, 2, 3, and they have just different names, I'm like, well, now I've got to go look and see which one's which and figure
Yeah,
out what order I've got to watch them in.
100% agree with that. I like if it's a series that obviously I'm really into, then obviously I'm going to probably be up to date with it. But when
Yeah.
it's one that I'm like maybe I've only just gotten into it, or maybe I got into it once there's already been a few come out. It's like, yeah, if there's not a 1, 2, or a 3, it's like, oh shit, which one is bloody which?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I've got both of the movies, Knock at the Cabin and Old, were directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Nice.
And Knock at the Cabin is written by him and 2 other people. So it's like it's not a complete M. Night Shyamalan like original. And Old is, from what I can see here, is he wrote the movie, but it's based on a anime or manga or something like that, or some kind of graphic novel. So it's like he didn't write the story; he just converted it to
like a script.
He did the screenplay or whatever.
Yeah.
And one cool thing about Knock at the Cabin is it has Rupert Grint in it, or as you might know him as another Weasley.
Weasley.
Yeah. And I found out the reason that he's in it is because M. Night Shyamalan has actually directed or written like a TV show that has him in it, Rupert Grint. So when he did the movie, he doesn't play. He plays a major role, but it's not a major role, if that makes sense. Like like it's one of those movies where there's only a few actors in the whole movie. Like it's cabin in the woods kind of movie. So there's only a handful of people. So he's in it a fair bit, but he's not like one of the main talking people.
Okay.
But yeah, it was very, very. I was pleasantly surprised. I went into it not really knowing what to expect, other than what the movie's about. But in terms of quality, and my daughter really wanted to see it, so I was like, okay, let's go see it. And then, yeah,
That's
yes,
cool.
yes, please.
It's good when you get pleasantly surprised like that.
100%. The last time, well, maybe not the last time, but the last major one that I can remember was when I went and saw Black Swan.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, we only went and saw it because it was when I was with my ex, and we used to go to the movies quite frequently. But we used to do a thing where it'd be like, because we'd often fight, we'd often fight over which movies to see. So we ended up being like, one time she gets the final say, and one time I get the final say, kind of thing.
Okay.
So like we go and be like, I want to see this, I want to see that, and then it'd be like, okay, well, I want to see this. We can see your one next, or it's just like, okay, well, it's my turn to have the final say if we couldn't agree. So it's, this one's my choice. And it was her say to see it. I think I wanted to go watch like The Fighter or something like that.
Okay.
Because I hadn't actually seen much about Black Swan. I just thought it was like a drama about someone at a ballet. And it kind of is, but as you know, it's much more than that. And
yeah,
I was very pleasantly surprised when I saw that movie. I actually want to watch it again. I had it on Blu-ray, but I don't know where it's gone. And I haven't seen it on anything. Like it might be on Netflix or something, but I haven't seen it pop up. So
yeah, I can't say I have seen it either. But yeah, that movie actually surprised me as well. I thought the same thing. Like, oh, it's just going to be like someone trying to, get up in the ranks in a ballet studio or something. And then, yeah, it's like way deeper than that.
Yeah, so much more going on, and a lot of
Yeah.
cool visual stuff. And I didn't really know who Darren Aronofsky was as a director at that point. Now I kind of know what to expect if I see his name attached to something, but back then I had no idea.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's the kind of movie nerd I am. I will see a movie based just on the director alone sometimes, not even, for example, Ari Aster. Like, I want to see his new movie, not because I think it looks good, as in like, I'm like, oh, that story looks awesome or whatever. It's just because he's directed it, and no matter what the movie is about, I think he'll do like an interesting job, even if it's not something that I'm like, oh, that's my favorite. I'll be like, oh, that was done well,
Yeah, that's cool. I'm not that much of a film nerd, but there are some names out there that if I see them, I'm like, I know I'm probably going to like them. And Guy Ritchie is one of those.
Yeah, for the most part, I would agree. There's a few movies that he's done that you might not even realize are Guy Ritchie movies.
Okay.
Let me bring it up. It's funny because I say it like, oh yeah, whatever, but then I can't think of the bloody names.
Thank you, ADHD.
Right. So for one, the Aladdin live action movie is him.
What?
Yeah, that's a Guy Ritchie special.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
What the hell?
This is what I mean.
Well, I had no interest in watching that, and now I feel like I've got to just to see how the hell he's done it.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
From memory, the movie's fine. Like it's fine. It's Aladdin with
some of the like classics, like Lion King, I will never watch the live action because I never want to sully the original movie. I love it too much. Aladdin, I'm like, don't care as much, but you had Robin Williams as Genie.
Yeah, apparently the Will Smith one is fine. Like,
Yeah, I've heard he did his role well, like did his own thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, and then there's two other movies here: King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, and The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which I'm pretty sure has
That's a great movie. That's Henry Cavill and
Army Hammer. Is it? Yeah, Army Hammer.
yeah.
Before he was.
And I think Hugh Grant's in it as well.
I'm just looking at the page here, and his name's not in the top couple of people. Oh,
He's
there it
not
is. He's down. He was just down a bit further.
Yeah. He's like not a massive character, but you see him a few times.
Nice. And
Yeah.
King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. I'm pretty sure it's the dude from Sons of Anarchy. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I remember
Charlie Hunnam.
he is nice to look at, that's for sure. Same as Henry Cavill.
Oh, yeah, he sure is. I didn't realize Eric Bana was still around.
Yeah, he's been in like bits here and there. I've been told by a lot of people to watch The Dry.
Yep, I'm literally looking at that on his list of movies that he's done recently.
Yeah, because I think that's supposed to be really good. That's based on a novel, I'm pretty sure, and then they're doing a sequel to that as well. So
Yeah, right.
which I think has already been out from memory.
Would it be called? Oh yeah, here it is. Force of Nature, The Dry 2.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure it is good, but here's just an example of what I was talking about before with ratings and stuff. Like The Dry and The Dry 2 got a 6.8 and a 6.0 in rating. Chippendale Rescue Rangers got a higher rating than both of those movies.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like classic, but no.
Yeah. And this is the 2022 Rescue Rangers I'm talking about as well.
Oh, what? Oh,
Yeah.
that was a recent one? Oh,
Yeah.
no. Everything's just getting recycled these days, I feel.
From memory, the movie is actually kind of, like, the premise is kind of good, because I'm pretty sure they have, because it's like, the premise is basically cartoon actors are real, like kind of like Roger Rabbit style.
Okay.
And Chip and Dale, like, one of them stayed 2D and one of them got like the surgery to go 3D and stuff. So there's a bit of that thing going on. And then
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, I'm just trying to have a look here. I'm pretty sure that so there's like the ugly version, the Sonic before they redid his model or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he's in it. Like, maybe not for long, it could just be cameos, but from memory,
Yeah.
there's lots of cameos like that of like non-Disney like cartoon characters who are also real in the world of that movie.
Okay. Well, that's
the premise is decent. I don't know if the movie itself is decent, but according to IMDb, it is 0.2% better than The Dry, and 1% better, or one
Than
whole
the second
star,
one.
1 better than the second one.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, take that for what you will. Like, a movie like Midsummer, considered a pretty big classic at the moment, in like horror and stuff, got a 7.1. Like, it really just depends on who's rating it, blah blah. Like, somewhere like IMDb only takes its ratings from users, so I've never once rated a movie on that site in my life, and I would have given it at least like an 8 or a 9.
Yeah, true.
Well, anyway, I reckon here is probably a good spot to potentially finish up. We have been talking for a fair bit longer than we normally do, so maybe movies is partly our thing, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
So maybe next week I will mention a little bit about The Watchers at least, and give some thoughts and stuff. Especially it's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, see how she goes, how she holds up against her father.
Shamalamalam.
Shimmalamanon. Shlamanam. Dun, da, 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 da. Shlamanam. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening to our rambles. And I'm not 100% sure what we're going to talk about next week, other than I'll bring up the watches. But there's been a few games we've been playing lately, like Diablo 4 and Red Dead Online.
Yeah.
A few things like that. So I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about.
We'll find something.
Hells yeah, we will. At this point, hopefully it'll be actually next week we'll release the next episode. And yeah, thanks for joining us.
Bye, guys.
Perfect.